Meth? You genuinely think that if this guy was the freebase on the house floor, that they would just be like, oh yeah, that's chill? Yeah, man. I mean, if you were, hey, that better not be a Marlboro, okay? That better not be a flavored Juul pod. But if that's just some good old crack and some good old meth, I don't know. Oh yeah, get some fentanyl in there. Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, I'm shooting up Crocodile over here with Marjorie. We're having a great time. Why do you think she's always so energetic? Tucker Carlson did a segment recently about smoking, and in the segment, he basically makes the argument that, smoking is a beautiful American pastime. Tobacco helped, found this country. A lot of things helped found this country. Not a lot of them bad, by the way. Some of them good. Free speech, freedom of religion. Some of them bad. Plantations and how they were run. I think, being a little on the nose here. But he goes in to defend smoking in Congress and condemn Nancy Pelosi for trying to stop smoking in Congress in like 2009. Like this is I don't know why this is coming up now really, but this is a really wild segment because he makes some accusations here which are interesting to say the least, that include crack, children smoking marijuana, and the joy of I guess lung cancer. Let's watch the segment.
So what's interesting is that for the past 2 years, the Biden administration has been actively encouraging drug use among Americans. Not just weed. There are dispensaries on every corner in every town in the country all of a sudden. Some people are getting rich from it.
Can I just say, again, we just started. Joe Biden was like the one Democratic nominee candidate outside of maybe John Delaney, maybe Michael Bloomberg, who wasn't in favor of legalizing marijuana. Bernie was. I'm pretty sure Tulsi might have been. Pete probably was. I would have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure Biden was one of very few that was against the legalization of marijuana. Joe Biden was also somebody who was deeply involved in the drug war and being involved during the age where the vast majority of Americans were asking for war on drugs. And I know this is something that people don't talk about, but a big reason why we got a lot of these things like the crime bill was because Americans were terrified that the drugs were coming for their kids, the drugs were coming for their families, and we had to do something to stop it. And Congress reacted, and I would say pretty reactionary way. Not thinking about really the long-term impacts of what these policies would do, or if this was the correct solution to deal with the nation's addiction problem, but they reacted. To say Joe Biden is somebody who wants your kids on drugs, knowing, number one, his relationship with Hunter Biden and how much that drug addiction has affected him emotionally, where people have leaked audio of him calling his son saying I love you. I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do, Hunter. I love you so much. If you're destroying yourself, please, I don't know what to do anymore as a father. It's some really tragic audio being leaked. He is not a pro-drug guy. He still hasn't come out in favor of legalization of marijuana. He has his personal life connected to the family tragedy of addiction. Joe Biden was involved heavily in crafting the modern drug war. I don't understand how you could ever come away with the conclusion that Joe Biden is a drugs are great and cool guy. I mean, I wish he was nicer on drugs. I wish he was in favor of legalizing marijuana and legalizing psychedelics, right? I am a lot more liberal on this topic than Joe Biden is. And I hope that when 2024 comes around during that campaign season, if Joe Biden is the nominee again, which I think at this point he most likely will be, if that is the case, that he comes out in favor of legalizing marijuana, which the vast majority of Americans want. Anyway, let's continue.
Smoke more weed, it's good for you. But also meth and crack. The Biden administration has literally sent crack pipes to crack addicts.
This is a lie. This is a really bold lie. I mean, if you were actually sitting in your living room, this is a ridiculous statement just on its face, right? Would you immediately just believe Tucker Carlson just comes out, Joe Biden is shoving crack pipes into the mouths of crack addicts across this country? Like Joe Biden like was watching his son destroy his life on crack, and he was like, damn, I want to share this experience with everyone. I want everyone's kids to be hooked on crack. This is nonsense. This is not true. I mean, you can go do the research yourself, but here's the Washington Post article breaking this down where this lie started earlier this month. No, the federal government isn't spending $30 million on crack pipes. So I don't know what to I don't know what to say besides it's just a lie. He doesn't source anything. He doesn't like show an article on stream, which often Tucker will do when he's trying to source a claim he makes. He just kind of like shoots it out there that Joe Biden is sending crack pipes to crack addicts across America.
Something we never thought would happen, but they're doing it.
They're not.
On the other side, you have Republicans. They're back in control of the House of Representatives. And because they are, on the House side, Republican members who want to smoke tobacco once again can. They couldn't when Nancy Pelosi was Speaker because she had banned tobacco smoking in the Capitol complex back in 2007.
Oh, I thought it was 2009. Okay, it's been around here a lot longer than that. Okay.
Now, you'd think this would be non-controversial in a country where you're allowed to smoke meth in a park. Kids are encouraged to smoke weed.
What is he talking about? You're not allowed to smoke meth in a park. What do you mean? If I was to go to a park right now down the street, that you know, a park that all the kids used to hang out with when I was a kid, and I was to smoke meth, I would go to jail, possibly prison. Like, no, it is not allowed to smoke meth in the United States. That is not allowed. Joe Biden was specifically involved in making sure that everyone knew that it was not allowed. Joe Biden is still against the legalization of marijuana. Even if he took some few baby steps, which I was supportive of decriminalizing it on the federal level and making it so people who have been got in trouble for this in relation to federal laws won't be going to prison, because it is ridiculous that somebody smoking pot choosing to put something in their body of their own free will that isn't hurting anyone, that the worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to get like a bad case of the munchies, might gain a few pounds. That's banned. But vodka and whiskey, and I mean, vodka is like literally disinfected. That stuff's poison. Vodka is poison. That's allowed, but smoking pot isn't. It's ridiculous. And I will still say that I disagree with Joe Biden on that, and he needs to become more liberal on marijuana. That's something that I think would help his 2024 campaign and would help push back against this image of he's kind of this like befuddled old man stuck in the old ways that a lot of young voters who were reinvigorated this midterm had, and they turned out heavily in this midterm, in part due to the student debt relief program he put forward. But I think marijuana legalization is something that would help those turnout numbers even more in 2024, as Joe Biden would say, look, if we get our majorities back, if we get a strong majority in House and Senate, maybe we could try to move on this on the federal level. If not legalization, maybe federal decriminalization. Or look, all I'm saying is that no, Joe Biden is not in favor of you smoking pot. Joe Biden is not in favor of you smoking crack, and Joe Biden is certainly not in favor of children smoking pot. Even in the states where pot is legalized, it is not legal for children to smoke pot because pot can stunt growth. Pot can have negative health effects on everyone, of course, but especially children during their developmental periods. For example, in my state, Maryland, we just legalized marijuana, but if you're 18, you actually can't smoke pot. You have to get to 21 unless you get a medical marijuana card, showing that doctors and professionals and experts in the field recognize the type of developmental impacts it can have on young people. It's starting to treat it more and more like alcohol. Anyway, let's continue with the segment.
But it's very controversial because unlike meth and weed and crack, tobacco is bad.
Who is he arguing against? Who is arguing that crack and meth is not bad, but tobacco is bad? Don't smoke cigarettes, smoke meth. Nobody believes this. He's arguing against somebody who doesn't exist.
Several members of the Capitol Press Gallery are horrified by this, and they're...
By the way, the most popular news show in America, the most viewers in the United States when it comes to news, watch this guy. And when they were watching this guy, they heard him say that Biden wants you to smoke meth in a park and wants your kids to get high on weed, even though Joe Biden was heavily involved in the drug war, and they kept watching. They heard him say, these Democrats want you to smoke meth and crack and weed, but never touch a cigarette or a cigar that you like to enjoy after an afternoon lunch. And they're like, oh, yes, this is a respectable news broadcaster. This is somebody who I should get my opinions of. Let's keep watching.
Complaining. So you have to kind of wonder, why is tobacco so dangerous? Well, we thought we would ask a member of Congress who uses it, who smokes an occasional cigar.
That sounds like the worst person to ask. Wait, why? Hey, let's talk about why tobacco is so dangerous. So let's talk to somebody who smokes tobacco and is in favor of smoking tobacco instead of, say, a doctor, a medical expert, somebody who treats cancer patients. Okay, whatever.
Troy Nels joins us tonight. Congressman, grateful.
He has 3 cigars in his pocket. There's no reason for you to need 3 cigars in your pocket as you leave the home. 3? How much do you smoke cigars? That you need 3 in a single day. He's like virtue signal. Dude, he is unironically virtue signaling with smoking tobacco. He's oh, look how cool I am. I smoke a lot of cigars. Like, I'll be honest with you guys, right? I actually smoke cigars. I like smoking cigars. But I mean, I'll be lucky if I smoke an entire cigar in a day. I'll usually like maybe finish half or 30% of a cigar in a single sitting. I usually won't smoke the whole thing. I try to save it because I don't want to burn through these things like crazy. Because number one, if you want a good cigar, a lot of times they're pretty expensive. And number two, I don't want lung cancer, so I try to limit myself. Of course, smoking period increases the risk, but I try to limit myself. I try not to, I try to just, go for the mouthfeel as you're supposed to do with cigars. But 3 cigars in a day is not realistic. He's just virtue signaling.
That you're here, willing to stand up for the most American of all pleasures, which is tobacco. Sorry to say it, it's true. It founded the country. Tell us why it's important for you to burn a cigar occasionally in your office.
By the way, can I just say, just because tobacco helped found the country with the tobacco plantations and all of that, which is true, it was heavily involved in early colonial American economy, the percentage it is a part of our economy today is a lot smaller than what it was back in the day. Things and industries can, outlive their usefulness. And it's also having a demonstrably negative impact on other industries as people are getting lung cancer, and it's killing off our workforce and our people, which is true because lung cancer is a massive issue in this country. It's one that my father, who smoked for the majority of his life, is dealing with right now. My father literally has lung cancer, still smokes. He's reduced his smoking, which used to be over a pack a day. He's reduced it down, but it's a really, really brutal addiction, smoking is.
Well, thank you for having me, Tucker. It's all about freedom. It's interesting that dishonest media and those they want to complain about a little smoke coming out of my cigar, they don't want to talk about the inflation or the crime or the southern border.
Oh, come on, dude. It's literally, I hear the lefty NPC stuff all the time, but you can't talk about any issue without diverting to every single other issue. The thing is, nobody told them that they had to talk about smoking today. Nobody was like, oh my gosh, smoking's in the news right now. There's no big smoking news. CNN with breaking news, #1 story in the nation right now, smoking in the Capitol building. That wasn't. Tucker chose to talk about smoking. He got a segment ready. He got a guest ready, and his guest got 3 cigars ready. And then they do the story, not because the world and all of his viewers were asking him to please defend smoking on TV. They got it ready, completely independent of what everybody else was asking of. The left wasn't railing on, we need to ban all the smoking. And now he's like, hey, all these lefties are trying to do this to smoking to distract from everything else. Nobody else is talking about smoking right now. There's no big story in the news about smoking. The left isn't like, we need to ban smoking in America. There isn't no big crusade against it right now that's being launched. So when he says he's trying to distract from it, what news publication? The Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, The Jacobin, if you want to go really lefty? What news publication, what magazine, what video content creator, what personality on the left is railing on smoking right now, that you need to do the segment to talk about it. What part of the left is trying to divert over to smoking? I have no clue what they're talking about. It's fantasy, man.
Enjoying cigars, nations leaders, world leaders, from Winston Churchill to United States presidents, from Andrew Jackson to Theodore Roosevelt, Nixon, JFK, they like smoking their cigars. We even know that Bill Clinton, he enjoyed a good cigar every once in a while. So I don't know what all the hoopla is all about. You're right. In 2007, under Pelosi, she said you cannot smoke cigars in the Capitol building, i.e. you can't smoke cigars on the House floor or in committee hearings. But it did not include members' offices. So a member's house office, we've always been able to smoke cigars. There are many of us in the Cigar Caucus, about 30 of us.
The Cigar Caucus. I'm sorry. Really? The Cigar Caucus? Oh, come on.
That enjoy a good cigar in our office, and we do so. Nancy Pelosi for 2 years.
Can I be honest? I actually don't disagree with the idea that if you want to smoke a cigar in your office, as long as you like do proper ventilation and make sure it stays consigned to your office and you open a window, do all the things that would be necessary to make sure you're not getting smoke into other people's offices, because secondhand smoke is a real issue and your decision to smoke a cigar should not impact other legislators' personal health, I wouldn't even have a major problem with it. But I'm pretty sure if I started saying, okay, you know, you can smoke in your office, but you got to open a window, you got to have proper ventilation, you got to make sure you're staying close to that window, you got to make sure it doesn't affect your neighbors, you're like on the other offices near you, you got to make sure, you know, make sure your staff is okay with it if they're going to be working with you in this environment, since it's also going to be putting their health at risk. I guess under those circumstances, maybe it would be fine, because I can see the power trip somebody could have by like, I'm a congressman smoking a cigar in my office. If you want to have fun with that and you know, have a good time with that, good for you, whatever. But no reason to be smoking cigars in committee hearings. No reason to be smoking cigars on the House floor. And also, couldn't you just go outside if you really wanted to smoke a cigar? I know it's winter, but you could go outside, really, if you wanted to smoke a cigar. If this was like that burdensome of a regulation, nobody's going to stop you from doing that as well.
I've been smoking cigars. Nobody complains about it. But now they want to come after us because we're in the majority. This is typical from the left. They want to infringe on our rights. They want to complain about our smoke. They're probably complaining about maybe my aftershave or the color of my tie.
Can I be for real? Again, as somebody who enjoys cigars, right? I'm a young guy, enjoys cigars. Probably not a smart health decision. Somebody telling me I can't smoke in my work office is not infringing on my rights. I don't know what part of the Bill of Rights or our founding fathers' documents was like, thou shalt not infringe on a congressperson's right to smoke cigars in their office for health reasons. But that's not a right enshrined anywhere. So no, it is not infringing on your rights to say that in your public work office, which is in a public building, by the way, you know, owned by the government, that you have a right to smoke cigars in there.
It doesn't end.
But if you were smoking weed or meth, no one would say anything. What is it about tobacco?
What the fuck? What? What do you mean nobody would say anything if he's smoking meth in his office? Are you fucking insane? Are you this deluded? If he was smoking weed, that would be a scandal already. Okay, because he's against weed legalization. Okay, that would already be a scandal because of that. But also, that would get you in a lot of trouble. That would get you a lot of trouble in the conservative press. That would get you a lot of trouble in the press, period. Just the weed smoking. And you want to know what? I would probably defend that to a certain extent, saying like, look, honestly, unironically, if he did all the same thing that I said to do with a cigar, I probably wouldn't even care that much, if at all. But meth? You genuinely think that if this guy was the fucking freebase on the House floor, that they would just be like, oh yeah, that's chill. Yeah, man, I mean, if you were, hey, that better not be a Marlboro, okay? That better not be a flavored Jewel Pod. But if that's just some good old crack and some good old meth, I don't know. Oh yeah, get some fentanyl in there. Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. Hey, I'm shooting up Crocodile over here with Marjorie. We're having a great time. Why do you think she's always so energetic? Wait, actually, that crocodile does not do that. It's a downer, not an upper. But you get the idea. No. You cannot smoke meth on the House floor and get away with it. You cannot smoke meth in a comedian hearing and get away with it. And you can't smoke meth in your office and get away with it. Nobody is going to allow you to smoke that Schedule 1 drug in your office. There's no world right now where if this guy was to freebase in his office, that it would be perfectly fine and nobody would have a problem with it. What do you mean? You're completely deluded. God fucking most popular cable news show in news television.
Which was a religious sacrament for the American Indians, for all the Mesoamerican Indians.
Oh, give me a break. He's not conducting some religious ceremony in his office where he's fucking smoking a cigar, putting on a headdress, and doing a rain dance or whatever he thinks would be necessary for this religious ceremony to do. Like, what does he think's going on in there? What the way? Like his fucking peace pipe? Get out of here. No, it's not for religious reasons. If he wants to go practice his... I cannot wait for the Cigar Caucus to come forward and say cigars are part of our religion. You know how they say, you know how Catholics like eat the wafer and drink the wine? Well, now us Protestants and Methodists, you know what we're doing now? We're smoking cigars in Jesus' name. I can't wait. Excited.
Triggers them so profoundly, do you think?
I don't know. Maybe they've never tried one, but you look at a nice Ashton cigar. It's a beautiful cigar. It's mild, mate, arterial.
Would be Ashton.
It's a great cigar. Try one.
Oh, I have.
He didn't even light it. He just grabbed the lighter, like lit it next to it, and then like put it. There's no smoke coming out of it. He didn't light the cigar. Also, if you're going to be lighting a cigar, use a box of matches, okay? Be classy about it.
Here's Troy Nels. Striking a blow for freedom. That is the smell of freedom. We appreciate your coming on tonight and standing up for Americanism.
Thank you. God bless.
Great to see you.
Standing up for Americanism. Well, if he's smoking 3 cigars a day, he's not going to be able to stand much longer because he's going to lose his fucking legs. What a stupid segment, man. Again, most popular cable news television show in the United States. Most popular cable news television show in the United States. Absolutely insane. Absolutely crazy.
An immoral, morally corrupt, bankrupt man.
Hey, Ace Real, thank you so much for the tier 1 and being up for 14 months. The bong is my spirit. Smoke it in remembrance of me. A classic verse. True. Amen. Trashomancer with the 100 bits. Smoking poles for Jesus. Jesus Christ. Wish I said that quieter. Pretty sure my family heard that downstairs. Actually, there was a problem in the Catholic Church with priests chewing tobacco while behind the altar. That wouldn't surprise me too much. After this and the gas stove drama, I convinced conservatism is a mental illness at this point from Weeju. I don't know. I don't know if it's the conservatism is a mental illness, where I think it's just Tucker had a slow news day. I have a slow news day today. Why do you think I'm talking about this nonsense? Let me go look back at site chat. Why am I giving gutter chat so much attention? Maybe it's because the hype train's close. I don't know. Man, if a priest wants a good chew, I'm cool with that. Yeah, I wouldn't care about that either. I don't know. I guess a lot of people if a priest was chewing bubble gum while talking about the Holy Spirit, I guess some people might take offense to that. I think some people might take some offense to that. What if one second, you said something in there I couldn't read. What if shit like the Eminem stuff? I mean, the Eminem stuff is another example of it, yeah. Just they don't have anything else to talk about, so they're just complaining about M&Ms. And I mean, we cover silly news stories as well, but at least I'm not claiming that the fucking opposition would smoke meth on the House floor and nobody would care. What a ridiculous story. Absolutely ridiculous. Huh. Does anybody want to put that theory to test? Does anybody want to put it to test?